The Golden State Warriors continue to stir the pot in the NBA landscape, and the latest buzz is enough to make any fan sit up and pay attention. It's that time of the offseason when rumors start heating up, and while most don't come to fruition, a few manage to shift the league entirely. This time, the whispers aren't just smoke. They've got enough substance behind them to ignite serious conversations within Dub Nation. From trade speculation around some of the league's most iconic names to potential moves that could redefine the Warriors' future, this offseason is shaping up to be anything but quiet. First, let's clear the air on a name that keeps popping up on every fan forum and social media thread: Jonathan Kuminga. Yes, the rumors have been swirling. No, he's not getting traded. Not yet. All signs point to Kuminga remaining with the Warriors at least until January 15th. That's the earliest any move involving him could legally take place, assuming he re-signs, which, based on all insider talk, seems like an inevitability. The organization is standing firm on the idea that Kuminga is a part of their immediate plans. Whether he accepts the 2-year, $45 million offer on the table or opts for the qualifying offer route to retain long-term control over his career, it's clear Golden State values him. But his name will keep circulating, and for good reason. When a player has the potential Kuminga has, and your front office is actively pursuing major upgrades, no one is truly off the table in the NBA. But let's pivot to the splashiest name tied to the Bay right now. That's right, LeBron James, the king himself. Now, before anyone gets too carried away, let's acknowledge the reality. This is a long shot, a moonshot even. But make no mistake, the interest is real. According to reliable league sources, the Warriors have reached out to the Lakers multiple times over the past 18 months to explore the feasibility of bringing LeBron to Golden State. Think about that for a second. The same LeBron who once stood in the way of multiple Warriors titles, now being viewed as a potential piece to help deliver one more championship before the dynasty window closes completely. Of course, it's not that simple. LeBron has a no-trade clause, and unless he explicitly asks out of Los Angeles, this conversation remains pure speculation. But here's where it gets interesting. Despite all their history as rivals, LeBron and Steph Curry developed a real connection during their time playing together for Team USA. Their chemistry on the court was undeniable, and by all accounts, they enjoyed the experience immensely. Steve Kerr, who coached that Olympic squad, saw firsthand how seamlessly they meshed. That kind of on-court understanding doesn't go unnoticed in front offices, especially in one as ambitious as Golden State's. Still, ambition only takes you so far when the math doesn't work. LeBron's contract is massive, north of $50 million annually. Matching that salary requires some serious roster shuffling. And if you're wondering who on the Warriors roster even comes close to matching that number, look no further than Jimmy Butler. The franchise's big acquisition last February, Butler was brought in to be the final piece, the player to reignite the Warriors' title hopes and complement Steph and Draymond in their twilight years. Moving him would be no small decision, and it's unclear if that's even on the table. Not to mention, reports indicate the Lakers have no interest in either Butler or Kuminga in a hypothetical LeBron deal. So for now, that dream pairing of LeBron and Curry remains exactly that, a dream. But if you think that's where the story ends, think again. The Warriors aren't just chasing big names for the sake of headlines. They're actively scanning the league for realistic, high-upside additions who could shift their ceiling without dismantling their core. Enter Trey Murphy. Now this is where things start to make real sense. Murphy, currently with the New Orleans Pelicans, is quickly emerging as one of the most desirable two-way wings in the league. He just wrapped up a breakout season, averaging over 20 points per game while shooting a stellar 38% from beyond the arc. He's got size, athleticism, a smooth shooting stroke, and, perhaps most importantly, untapped potential. At just 25 years old, Murphy fits the Warriors' timeline in a unique way. He's young enough to be part of a post-Steph future, but polished enough to contribute meaningfully right now. The Warriors have already reached out to the Pelicans this offseason to gauge Murphy's availability. So far, New Orleans has shut the door firmly. They value him highly, and understandably so. He's on a team-friendly contract that pays him $25 million per year starting in 2025, a number that looks more like a bargain with each passing game. But Golden State isn't the kind of franchise that gets deterred easily. If there's a path forward, even a narrow one, they'll find a way to keep pushing. So what would it take to prime Murphy out of New Orleans? It starts with Kuminga. The Warriors would almost certainly have to include him as the centerpiece. But it wouldn't stop there. Add in 2 unprotected first-round picks, maybe another young asset or 2, and suddenly you're in the ballpark. Some might say that's too steep a price. But ask around the league. There are plenty of executives who view Murphy as a future all-star or at the very least a high-level starter for years to come. In the right system, he could flourish even more, and Golden State believes their environment, with Steph, Jimmy, Draymond, and KERR's coaching, is exactly the kind of setting where a player like Murphy could explode. It's not just about numbers, though. It's about fit. The Warriors have always valued versatility, spacing, and basketball IQ. Trey Murphy checks all those boxes. He's a 3-level scorer who doesn't need the ball in his hands to be effective. He moves well without it, can defend multiple positions, and brings energy every night. If the Warriors are truly serious about one more run, this is the kind of move that pushes them from hopeful contenders to legitimate threats again. Now, let's be realistic. Any trade involving Kuminga can't happen until mid-January. But that just means the groundwork is being laid now. Front offices don't just wake up on trade deadline day and make deals. They build relationships, test the waters, gauge the interest, and wait for the right time to strike. By all accounts, Golden State is doing exactly that. They're keeping tabs on Murphy, staying close to New Orleans, and making sure they're at the front of the line if the Pelicans ever reconsider. In the meantime, Warriors fans are left in a familiar position, dreaming about what could be. Whether it's the fantasy of LeBron donning a Golden State jersey or the more realistic vision of Trey Murphy flying down the wing at Chase Center, one thing's clear. The front office isn't content with standing still. They know Steph doesn't have forever. They know Draymond and Jimmy are on the back half of their primes. And they know that the Western Conference isn't getting any easier. So the clock is ticking. The rumors are swirling. And the Warriors are very much in the middle of it all. Whether it's a blockbuster or a stealthy deadline deal, Golden State is plotting its next move. And if history has taught us anything, it's that when this franchise goes all in, they don't miss. If there's one thing that's defined the Warriors throughout this dynasty run, it's timing, knowing exactly when to pull the trigger on a deal, when to pivot, and when to hold steady. That's what makes this current moment so delicate. They're staring at the crossroads of legacy and longevity, trying to balance the final prime years of Steph and Curry with the need to remain competitive in a conference that's never been more brutal. The Western Conference is loaded with teams getting younger, faster, and deeper, while Golden State is holding on to a window that's still cracked open, but only just. And that's why names like Trey Murphy matter. He's not a flashy, superstar-level target like LeBron James, but in today's NBA, players like Murphy are arguably more valuable in certain contexts. He offers something that Golden State has lacked in recent years: consistency on the wing with real offensive and defensive upside. You could argue that the Warriors have been chasing that kind of profile since the departure of Kevin Durant. They've tried different combinations: Kelly Oubre, Andrew Wiggins, Moses Moody, even giving heavy developmental minutes to Kuminga. None have truly cemented themselves as that missing puzzle piece. Trey Murphy has that potential. He's a fluid athlete who understands spacing, can switch defensively, and has the length to contest shots and finish plays above the rim. He's not going to take over games like a primary scorer, but alongside Curry, Butler, and Green, he doesn't have to. He just needs to stay locked in, hit shots when they matter, and do the dirty work that championship teams need from their role players. The real beauty of his game is how low maintenance and scalable it is. He doesn't need 20 shots a night to be effective. His value comes from efficiency and smart positioning, traits Golden State has always prized. And let's not forget the age factor. At 25 years old, Murphy is just entering his prime, while Curry's timeline may only span another 2 or 3 elite years. Having a player like Murphy enter contract through his peak seasons could help bridge that transition. Maybe you don't rebuild around him, but he gives you a legitimate piece for whatever comes next, whether it's retooling with younger stars or staying competitive in a more balanced, depth-first system. That's not something you can say about every trade target on the market right now. Most are either on the decline or locked into unfavorable contracts. Murphy's situation is unique, affordable, ascending, and relatively drama-free. But New Orleans knows that too, which is why they've been reluctant to engage in any serious trade discussions. According to multiple insiders, the Pelicans have shut down all inquiries, including those from Golden State, making it clear they see Murphy as a core part of their future. That's understandable. They've already committed long-term money to Zion Williamson and Brandon Ingram, and in many ways, Murphy complements both of those stars in ways they desperately need. He stretches the floor for Zion, covers defensively for Ingram, and brings a level of professionalism that stabilizes a young locker room. Yet the Warriors can offer something New Orleans might eventually have to consider: control over future draft assets and a young player like Kuminga, who still has untapped potential. For all of Murphy's upside, Kuminga remains one of the more intriguing prospects in the league. He's shown flashes of brilliance, moments where he looks like a future all-star. His physical tools are undeniable: strength, speed, leaping ability, all elite. What's held him back has been inconsistency and decision-making, two things that can improve with time and structure. And that's the pitch Golden State could make: swap one ascending talent for another, plus picks. From a Pelicans perspective, if they start questioning whether they can keep all their young talent long-term, that offer might become more tempting, especially if the picks involved are unprotected. A team can only pay so many players, and if Ingram and Zion are your top two, Murphy's eventual extension might price him out of your plans. That's where the Warriors have leverage. They can pay Murphy, they can offer high-end assets, and they have a player like Kuminga ready to step in with a similar physical profile. Of course, it all hinges on timing. Kuminga cannot be traded until mid-January, assuming he re-signs with Golden State as expected. That gives both sides a few months to reassess. The Warriors can see how the season starts, where they stand in the standings, and whether Butler's integration with the team is yielding results. If things start shaky, the pressure to make a bold move will grow. On the other side, if New Orleans finds itself treading water in a hyper-competitive West, they might become more open to the idea of shaking things up. That's why this isn't just about Murphy or Kuminga. It's about what kind of team the Warriors want to be. Are they all in on one last title push with their core, or are they building something that can last beyond Steph? Murphy represents a rare chance to do both. He helps now, and he helps later. That dual value makes him incredibly appealing and incredibly difficult to acquire. It's also what makes this trade speculation so captivating. This isn't the Warriors throwing a dart at the wall. This is a calculated pursuit of a player they believe fits their system, their culture, and their vision for the next era of basketball in the Bay. The thing is, Golden State has done this before. They've been patient. They've worked the phones quietly. And then, seemingly out of nowhere, they've landed pieces that changed everything. Think back to how they acquired Andrew Wiggins, how they turned D'Angelo Russell into a cornerstone wing, or how they found a way to keep Kevin Looney at a bargain rate during their last title run. They know how to navigate the trade market, how to wait until desperation kicks in, and how to present the right deal at the right moment. Murphy may not be available now, but if the Warriors are still calling in January, still making offers, and still showing interest, the conversation will shift. The Pelicans might have to listen more closely. And when that door cracks open, Golden State will be ready. In the meantime, this front office isn't sitting still. With 6 open roster spots, there are multiple layers to how this team could evolve before opening night. 4 of those spots are reportedly earmarked for specific players, which means 2 additional pieces could still be up for grabs. Those final additions might not be needle movers individually, but when you're chasing a title, every rotation player matters. Think of what Gary Payton II brought in 2022, or how Otto Porter Jr. gave them reliable shooting and defense when it mattered most. These types of depth signings might feel minor now, but they often play out in major ways come playoff time. That's why the Warriors continue to scan the free agent market, especially for veterans who can complement their stars without needing a big role. Names will start surfacing soon. Players who've been waiting for the right opportunity or who've been rehabbing quietly in the background could suddenly become key targets. And once those signings happen, they'll tell us even more about the Warriors' intentions for the season. Before we continue, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any exclusive Dubs updates. Let's keep going. Explosive scenes erupted inside the Golden State Warriors locker room this week, as head coach Steve Kerr reportedly lost his composure in a way that few could have anticipated, unleashing a torrent of frustration at one of his players. Sources close to the team claim that tensions, long simmering beneath the surface during a season marked by inconsistencies and unexpected losses, finally reached a breaking point during a private practice session. Witnesses say Kerr's usually calm and composed demeanor shattered entirely as he confronted the player about repeated mistakes that, in his eyes, jeopardized the team's overall performance and cohesion. According to insiders, the confrontation was not merely a sharp word or stern rebuke, but a full-on tirade, complete with pointed criticism and passionate expressions of anger that left several teammates visibly stunned. The player at the center of the incident is said to have reacted defensively, attempting to explain or justify his actions, but Kerr allegedly would not hear excuses, emphasizing accountability and the high standards he expects from every member of the roster. Rumors suggest this episode could have lasting repercussions for the locker room's chemistry, as both Kerr and the player in question have reputations for strong personalities, making reconciliation a potentially delicate and high-stakes process that insiders are already debating in hushed tones. While the Warriors' management has yet to issue an official statement, speculation around the incident has spread rapidly through sports media circles, fueled by a combination of eyewitness accounts, social media chatter, and anonymous tips from sources claiming direct knowledge of the altercation. Analysts are weighing in with a variety of interpretations, some framing the incident as a necessary wake-up call to enforce discipline within a team that has struggled with consistency, while others argue it reflects deeper internal conflicts that could undermine Golden State's chances of contending at the highest level. Fans, too, have taken to online forums and social platforms, dissecting every available detail and hypothesizing about the player's identity, the severity of Kerr's outburst, and what it could mean for upcoming games. Sports psychologists have even weighed in, suggesting that while emotional expressions of frustration from a coach can occasionally spark a positive response, repeated or extreme incidents could damage trust, morale, and the delicate balance of authority within a professional sports team. As whispers continue to circulate, the Warriors' locker room is reportedly experiencing an unusually tense atmosphere, with teammates speculated to be caught between loyalty to their coach and support for the player, intensifying the drama and raising questions about whether internal mediation or intervention will become necessary to maintain cohesion in the high-pressure environment of the NBA. Compounding the intrigue, speculation has arisen regarding the player's role in recent games and practices, with observers noting inconsistencies in performance that may have contributed to Kerr's reported outburst. Sources indicate that the player, despite being a highly skilled contributor in previous seasons, has faced criticism from coaches and teammates for a perceived lack of focus, decision-making errors, and missed opportunities that have coincided with a string of disappointing results for the Warriors. The timing of the confrontation has only fueled conjecture, as insiders suggest that Kerr's patience, normally characterized by measured guidance and strategic encouragement, finally reached a threshold where private admonishment evolved into a very public emotional display. Analysts note that such a high-profile episode can have multiple ripple effects, potentially affecting everything from locker room dynamics to media narratives, fan perception, and even the player's market value in future trades or contract negotiations. Meanwhile, discussions persist regarding how the team will address this conflict moving forward, whether through internal counseling, adjustments to rotation strategies, or public acknowledgement aimed at reassuring fans that Golden State remains unified despite the apparent discord. As the rumor mill churns, the balance between transparency and secrecy becomes critical, with any leak or exaggeration threatening to amplify tensions and create further speculation around the team's ability to navigate high-pressure situations effectively. The media storm surrounding the incident has extended beyond the locker room, with commentators and journalists analyzing video clips, practice footage, and game statistics to piece together a narrative that explains KERR's unprecedented level of anger. Some argue that this episode signals a shift in coaching strategy, suggesting that KERR may be adopting a more aggressive, confrontational approach to address weaknesses and demand accountability, while others see it as a momentary lapse in judgment fueled by stress and frustration over missed opportunities. Public reaction has been equally polarized, with some fans defending KERR's passion and commitment to the team's success, framing his outburst as a reflection of his investment in winning and maintaining elite standards, while others question whether such behavior undermines professional decorum and risks alienating key players. Competing narratives have emerged across podcasts, social media threads, and televised debates, each attempting to reconcile the apparent volatility with KERR's otherwise calm public persona. Amid these swirling discussions, speculation continues over the potential long-term implications, including whether the player in question will be able to regain trust, whether team morale can be restored quickly enough to avoid performance declines, and whether KERR's authority will be strengthened or weakened by this very public confrontation, adding layers of intrigue to an already tension-filled season for the Golden State Warriors. Stay updated exclusively with the latest Dub Nation news. Subscribe to our channel and hit the like button to keep getting daily updates on the Warriors. Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments. Your input is essential for the Dubs community. Stay tuned for the next video.